Pranams to all of you today on this auspicious Ekadashi and Sankashti combination, and I'm very, very honored to be here with the grace of Shri Bhagwan. I'm very thankful to Lavanya Rao sir for this opportunity that is given to me, where I can share about my journey with Shri Bhagwan for the past 10 years. And I heard the very, very melodious Akshar Manmalai, the Uktesa Saram, and it has brought me immense delight to hear that and feel the ripples of love in my heart for Shri Bhagwan. So, thank you very much, sir, for giving the introduction about my work. And I'd like to share about my journey of how Bhagwan has enabled all the different spiritual paths to come and blend inside me. Over the past 10 years, I've been working with many spiritual methodologies, and I've always kept Bhagwan as my guru, as my guide. No matter what I was learning, I always took his blessings first, and with that only the right teachers, the right opportunities to learn, to serve have come to me. And that has enforced my faith in the grace to so much so that now it is only a flow and there is no need to try to even learn anything, because whatever there is in my heart, I want to learn and it just comes to me. So today's topic is about how Bhagwan has enabled my Srividya journey. So Srividya is a science of Atma Jnana, just like Advaita, and where we are able to reach the deepest core of ourself. It is also the path of the goddess Shri Lalita Tripura Sundari, who is the preceding deity of the Shri Yantra. And how this path has opened up in the past decade for me is something I want to share, a chronological kind of a sequence of events where I was propelled into the science through the grace of Bhagwan. So I'm also sharing this blog that I wrote. I'm sharing the screen for all of you, and I will be speaking about my journey also. So 2014, Bhagwan actually was introduced to me through a photograph of Arunachala sent to me by my doctor friend, Dr. Achi Mithun. He's from Hyderabad. He was my MBBS batchmate, and suddenly one day I had this photograph in my WhatsApp message, and I asked him what this was, and he said, just look at it and you will become silent. So I kind of did not understand what that meant at that point of time. But for a few moments, I did gaze at the photograph of Arunachala, and I found my own thoughts actually vanish. That was something very, very magically unique to me, because without any kind of meditation, without any kind of technology, technique, it had just done its work. It had quietened my mind. So that's how I was introduced to Shri Bhagwan in the year 2014. And as we all know that Bhagwan has given us primarily three paths. One is the path of self-inquiry, where we go into the depth of asking the question, who am I? The second path is the path of bhakti, where so many people came to Bhagwan. I, amongst them all, is incapable of doing any intellectual method or even meditating on the inquiry. So the bhakti marga is also one of the paths advocated by Bhagwan, and the third is silence or mauna. Now I struggled with what should be my way of going deeper into Bhagwan. I'm still struggling, but I found that as per my temperament, which was basically about love and bhakti, so I connected more with Bhagwan when I see his eyes, and I just feel that compassion, and I felt that this was my path. So even though I fail at doing so much of self-inquiry or maintaining silence, I started to work on myself for deepening my devotion to Bhagwan. This was the way that I started working with Sri Bhagwan's methods and also his grace. In the year 2016, I started to visit Ramana Kendra in New Delhi and tried to serve to the best of my abilities. One day I had a vision in which I was told by Bhagwan that there was a library in the Kendra which had many beautiful spiritual treasure books, and there was no librarian and there was nobody taking care of the library and those precious pearls out there. So he told me to go and do the cleaning and resetting of the books. So it took me around a week, where I was just used as an instrument, where I had to do quite a lot of work, but it was so much of an experience. I can never forget that. 50,000 odd books were taken out from their shelves. They were indexed, catalogued, and then put back over a week. So that is how it started. And during this, actually a book fell down from one of the drawers that I was cleaning. This is that book. It is a book by Shambhavi Lorraine Chopra, and I was just attracted to this book, and I took it home and I started reading it. Now, this was my first introduction to Shaktapat, and I was really impressed with what I got to read and learn from the book. Just a few days later, maybe 1 or 2 days later, I found that another book of the same author actually came across, and I just gobbled up these two books, and I was immediately enticed by the Divine Mother and her presence. And I took it as Bhagwan's will for me to walk the path and start my learning of srividya. So I was still very lazy to start doing any hard work on it, but Bhagwan sent me my first Tantra teacher in just soon after this, and he initiated me into the Shakti Upasana. He taught me mantras, he taught me many deep secrets of the Mother, and I was really wanting to go and explore deeper into these. So I started to work with the mantras for 2 years almost. I just did that in my solitude, in my practice which I was doing alone. I just kept chanting the mantras. I did not seek any guru. In Srividya path, there is a deep relevance of how you learn under a guru, and I was determined to know that Shri Bhagwan was my path, and he would lead me to my guru if it was meant for me. So that is how it happened that while I was doing this work, I was led to my Srividya Guru, Shri Amritanandanatha Saraswati of Devipuram. So I was very enchanted through a book which was his biography. That book is called Goddess and the Guru by Michael Borden. And Guruji's journey of transformation from a nuclear scientist to a Srividya Guru, and still the retention of that innocent smile and that compassionate eye to share Srividya with everybody, was something that really caught my attention, so much so that while reading the book, I just took a flight and I went to Devipuram, which is the place where Amritananda ji has created a temple in the form of Shri Yantra. It is near Visakhapatnam. And in 2018, I received my second sacred initiation from Guruji's wife at Devipuram, and that led on to so many things for me in my life, which connected me so much deeper to Bhagwan and the Divine Mother. I could channel some unique books on Lalita Sahasranama and other goddesses over the next period of years, and I just kept learning and reading from learning. My learning was basically, I'm basically more of a self-taught person. So I learned from Guruji's books. I worked with the sadhanas, and I wanted to have my own experiences. It's quite difficult to do such kind of a learning method in Srividya, because it's actually suggestible always to work your sadhana under a guru. But I always trusted Bhagwan's grace, and I just walked on. So that's how the path of Srividya was formally initiated into my life. And over a period of past 8 odd years, there's been a lot of ways that I've been used to channel Shakti through a body of work called as Shakti Awakened, where I'm also able to teach Shri Vidya, also able to offer these books and energize Shri Yantras to people for their specific purposes. Many more things have happened in the past 8 years in my work towards Shakti. So that is what I wanted to share. And the next thing that happened was that there was still like a very deep conflict inside me, because most people believed and kind of force-fed that to me, that Bhagwan is more like a Shaivik principle. And then I had Lalita Tripura Sundari goddess, who was the Shakti principle, and I went through a phase of many months where I was in deep spiritual anguish, and I used to cry to Bhagwan and ask that why they are two different. Why is Shiva and Shakti different? So why it has to be the same, isn't it? So he would just keep quiet, and I would just keep weeping. And after many months, in a meditative moment, I had a channeling, I had a vision where Bhagwan enabled me to see that Lalita Tripura Sundari was none other than him, and he was himself Devi, and he was himself the blend, the Ardhanarishwara or form of Shiva and Shakti in the absolute appropriate balance. And following this, I also had a download of a mantra, which is a fused mantra of Shri Bhagwan and the Panchadasi mantra of Sri Vidya. And there is no mention of anything like this anywhere in any scripture. It was just my own personal experience. I took it as Bhagwan's will for me, and I went down the path where I took a year to do 1 lakh japas of this Ramana Sundari form mantra, this fused consciousness I called as Ramana Sundari. And I did the 1 lakh japas, and it was such a blessing, because during that period, the enforcement or the corroboration of Bhagwan being the Ardhanarishwara was so much experientially, seeded into me. It became a living experience more and more as I work with my sadhana. So this is around the year 2019. And then in the year 2020, I realized that I'd been going to quite often to Devipuram to revel into the mother and her teachings. And in this year, I was actually very much attracted to the non-ritualistic practice of Sri Vidya called as Kalavahana. Now, this is a special technique which has been channeled by Guru Amritananda ji of Devipuram. And this is a practice which is equivalent to worshipping a Shri Yantra. So in our urban times, where we have lack of complete so much time and elaborate rituals, I found that the experience of working with Kalavahana gave me the non-dual experience of Devi inside me, rather than trying to seek her through any kind of ritual outside. Because in Sri Vidya there is lots and lots of pujas and rituals to an external form of the goddess, just like the Shri Yantra or maybe her idol form like that. But Kalavahana is actually a very advanced practice where you are able to experience the living Shakti inside your own body. And it just blended so much with my advaita bhava of Sri Bhagwan, where he proposed, or he says that there is no one or nothing but the self. So it was very magical how Sri Vidya also occurred to me in this non-dual kind of teaching or a technique or a practice. So I work deeper with Kalavahana, and I'm able to now experience this even more deeply on how Shakti is not outside us. She is not to be found in any temples, idols or yantras, but is a living, pulsating spandan of our self itself. So that was about this, and I'm just sharing the screen. Please look at the screen on this very beautiful picture where Guru is the Matru Bindu. Now what does that mean? Matru means mother, and Bindu, as we all know, the Shri Yantra at the tip of the Shri Yantra is actually called as the Bindu. So the goal of Shri Vidya practice is to arrive at the Bindu, which means that at the Bindu there is no bias, there is a non-dual consciousness, everything is one, and that is the goal of your entire sadhana. So I kind of feel that at the Bindu there is actually no effort and no one to be and nothing to do really, and Bhagwan is actually at that Bindu. He's actually seated there, and if we perceive our body to be a yantra, the Shri Yantra itself, then the heart or the Hridayam is basically the Bindu, and there is resting our pure self as Shri Bhagwan. So this is something that I wanted to share the figure with you, to be able to bring to you this insight that I get, and how Bhagwan is not different from Devi. He is blended with her. They are one, and they are all within ourselves. They are seated in our Hridayam, in our heart, and with the power of the Guru's grace, it is possible to know this not only intellectually, but with deep sadhana and surrender. We are able to actually get it as a living experience, not just something that we read in a book or learn from some teacher or just grasp it from the internet. It's not like that. We have to work on ourselves every day, each day. So sadhana, tapas is basically the core substratum, and what we can do in this lifetime. But the last leap, or what you can say, the last step of the ladder cannot happen without the grace of the Guru. Only when that is built can one actually come to that point of fusion within the self, or within as an experience, not just as a learning. So that was about my experience of 10 years, which I've been holding on, and I've been just thinking, how or when can I just speak about it. Maybe if I need to speak about it, Bhagwan would give me the place, the space. So here I am, and I'm really grateful to Lavanya Rao sir for enabling this for me. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Namaste. Namaste.